Hey, you guys, welcome to the weekly live stream. Today, I'm super excited to talk to you about something that I struggle with on a daily basis, and that is imposter syndrome. Um, so let me just share this um, into the leather tamers, and then we're gonna get into it because I feel like everyone at some point or another has experienced this, whether it's like unfounded or not, whether you actually should be feeling like, you shouldn't be selling your leather goods or not. Um, okay, so now that is in the leather tamers. And great. So, again, welcome to the weekly live stream. Today, I'm talking to you about imposter syndrome and how to deal with feeling like your leather goods are not good enough to sell, right? So, before we get started, I just want to say hello and introduce myself. I know there's a lot of new members. There's a lot of new people following on Instagram now, and a ton of new members in the Leather Tamers. Hello, Leather Tamers. So, I'm Mary. I'm the creator of leatherbeast.com, and I work with leather crafters just like you and teach them how to build a profitable leather goods business by focusing on getting clarity around your brand and business and what you offer, how to attract your ideal customer, and then how to drive that quality traffic to your website so that you can make sales. And if that sounds interesting to you, if you're new, you want to start a new business, but you're not sure how, you want to take your current business to the next level, head over to lucrativeleathercraft.com. I have a free workshop there. It's like an hour-long video, jam-packed with info, and I think I'm going to take it down soon. I'm not sure when, shortly, because I want to kind of switch out and put something else up there. So if you haven't watched that yet, go and sign up, watch that workshop. It's awesome. And now, before we dive into talking about the imposter syndrome, I want to read this week's review. This comes from Senya, and she says, as a female leather worker, I was so excited to come across your page. I would love to see more of your work, and I'll definitely continue to follow and engage in what you're offering. Thanks, Sanya, for the nice little note there. If you'd like to leave a review or a testimonial or just give some feedback, I'd love to hear from you. You can just head over to leatherbeast.com and click testimonials in the top right corner. All right, guys, so if you're tuning in live right now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt unsure of your leather work? Have you ever felt like your work isn't good enough to sell? Even if it was unfounded, right? Like maybe your work is great. You make wallets or something, or you make handbags, or you make belts. Your stitching is good. You got that down pat. The materials that you're using are really nice, really high quality. Your technique is good, but you still feel like not quite confident in your work. For one reason or the other, it could be totally unfounded. But you just can't get past the feeling of like, who am I to be starting this leather business? Raise your hand, hit the hearts wherever, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on Instagram, let me know that you've felt this way. Because I certainly have felt this way. Alan James says, I often feel this way. Let me just click over to the Facebook. So if you felt this way, it's completely normal. So sometimes, no matter how good my work is, when I look at it objectively, it's totally good, right? And is it the best in the world? No, of course not. I know that I'm not the best in the world, but it's good. I know that I use quality materials. I know that I have my techniques down. I've taken classes on how to improve my leather work, how to get started, what kinds of tools and techniques are the best techniques. So I know that my work is good. But so why do I still feel like it's not good enough to sell sometimes, Or why do I feel like sometimes when I'm talking on these like live streams that like, who am I to be sitting here talking about this stuff, raise your hand if this is you. So over on Instagram, I just want to read a couple of these because you guys are being awesome. Alan James says big time. I got a thumbs up from Orchard Leather. I've got LLSF Leather. Hi, my name should be anxiety. I'm not confident in anything. Oh no. Laura Ford, I felt that way. So, right, we are on the same page then. And I don't know about you, but I feel like this is totally normal. Like, we all go through this at some point. But this is imposter syndrome, and this is imposter syndrome just means that it's like this feeling you have of feeling like a fraud, like you don't belong. No matter how good you are at something, you it's like a mindset thing. You're just unsure. You don't feel like you're really stepping into those shoes and owning it. So in the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about this and kind of reframe this. So there's two steps to this. So step one is really looking at your work objectively and really asking yourself, okay, is my work good enough? Is it just me? Or does my work need some more work? That could totally be a possibility. And your imposter syndrome might just be reality. But if your work is good enough, then step two is giving you a few ways to deal with and get past the imposter syndrome, and so that it doesn't get in your way of starting a business. That's my biggest goal for you, is to not let these sort of mindset issues get in your way of starting your leather business, when you could be, building this business that could be paying off in big ways for you in your life. So why put it off, right? So let's talk about your work. Okay, if you feel like your leather work isn't good enough, I just want to ask you a few questions about your work. Are you using the right tools and quality materials when creating your leather goods? Are you using actual leather goods, leather working tools, like the specific stitching irons or stitching chisels to use it, or are you using some other like weird tool that's not really specific to leatherwork? That could have an effect on the quality of your leather good. Or if you're not using the right materials, are you using the right weighted leather for your specific products? Are you using quality leather that looks good, as an end result? So if you're not using the quality materials, or you're not using the right materials, the right tools, this could have an effect on bringing the quality of your leather work down. So if that's you, maybe revisit that and see if there's a way for you to up the quality of the materials that you're using, or to up the quality of the tools that you're using. Let's talk about your technique. Are there ways that you can improve your leatherworking technique, either by taking a class or practicing more? If it's your stitching, can you just practice this more? Or can you take a class to really learn from someone? That's what I did. I took a class from a master leatherworker. She apprenticed right out of high school in France from Hermes, the European luxury leather company, and then she worked for them for many years, 12 or 15 years. So I took a class directly. I went to the source because I wanted to learn that method, and that's how I was able to feel really confident in my stitching. So is there a way that you can improve your technique? And then thirdly, are there ways that you can simplify the design of the leather good that you're trying to create in order to improve the quality of your stitching? Sometimes we get a little complex in our mind about this like awesome thing that we're going to make, and it's going to have all these little bits and bobs to it, and we're going to use all this different hardware, and it's going to have all these different features. And before you know it, you have this like big ass leather good that is just like overly complicated. Like it takes you forever to make it. Like you're adding like everything but the kitchen sink, so a lot of these like techniques that you're using, it just doesn't look good. So is there any way you can kind of streamline your design to improve the look of your leather good? So those are my 3 tips. So if you answered yes or no, these are all, yeah. If there are ways that you can improve your work so that you can feel more confident about it, then do that. But if you feel like you're already doing all of those things, you're already using the right tools, great materials, your design is good, then chances are your leather work is actually really good enough to sell. And it's just a mindset issue that you have right now where you're feeling like, oh, I don't know if it's good enough. So I want to give you 5 ways to deal with imposter syndrome. Now, first of all, you never really get over imposter syndrome. You just have to find ways of dealing with it, right? Like it never really goes away. Like I said, like I still have imposter syndrome like 2 seconds before I push the live button every week when I go live and talk to you guys, because it's just like one of those things that you have to get comfortable with. Am I confident in my knowledge? Yeah, I am. But when it comes time to actually doing it, sometimes it can feel a little like, here we go. Um, so so you have to just learn how to deal with it. Okay, so the first way to deal with it, and I gave this one away a little bit yesterday. I don't know if you saw the Instagram post that I did yesterday, but stop measuring yourself against this imaginary bar, right? So there's no standard for entry. There's no one person guarding the gate saying, this is good to sell, this is not good to sell. I really truly believe that there is a market for everyone. And sometimes that market really focuses on the craftsmanship and the really nitty gritty details of your work. And other markets, it's all about like the branding and the marketing and the way you're promoting your products. And in no way am I saying that if you have a crappy product that you should just put it out there and slap some cool marketing or branding on it. But I'm just saying that sometimes we really can be perfectionists. I know I'm that way in my work, and I have to stop myself and say, all right, is this really something that I need to focus on? Am I comparing myself to other leather crafters, or is this a good product? So don't compare yourself to other leather workers that are having like so much more success than you, because they didn't get there overnight, right? They didn't just happen. They didn't just put their first product out there on a silver platter and say, look at my perfect product. No, they started the same way you did, and I'm sure their first product is not something that they are proud of or would love to share the world with the world. I know I would not want to be showing one of my first products with anybody, but I put it out there anyways. Um that is the first tip. Don't measure yourself against an imaginary bar, because then that really makes you feel like, ooh, I'm not good enough. Okay, number 2, and this one is really interesting. I didn't come up with this, but when I heard it, I read it somewhere. I'm not sure who the original person was, but what is going on here? It is to stop focusing on yourself and instead how you can help the people that you are trying to sell to and serve. So those fraudy feelings can come into play when you feel like you might be judged on your work, right? Or you're concerned with thoughts of, what will they think of me? That's when you can feel the most like, oh, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm unsure if I should be doing this, if I should be selling my leather work. So instead of focusing on you and how you feel, you can focus on how your work can help someone or provide genuine value. It kind of gives you this like, it allows you to like step back a little bit from your work and really look at your work objectively. So even if it's just one person that you're helping with your leather good, don't think about the whole world and what everyone will think of you. Just think about that one person that you can help with your leather good. And when we talk about helping people with our leather goods, that often kind of conjures these like, you're saving the world with your leather goods. That's not really what I mean. I mean, helping can be making someone feel more stylish, by wearing like a cool handbag that you made. That's kind of one of the ways that I help my customers. Helping absolutely could be, something functional, like making a belt to help you keep your pants up. But as I teach in lucrative leather craft, you got to go a little bit deeper than that, because if that's the way you're helping someone, then what's to stop someone from just going down to Target and buying a $10 belt versus your $80 belt, right? So you have to there has to be a deeper way that you're helping someone if you are selling handmade leather goods. So really focus on that instead of focusing on like, this is my leather good, I hope they like it. Like focus on how you are giving someone value. I really like that one because when I started doing that, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't feel so nervous anymore because I know that my leather bags, I've heard from my customers that they love them and they're beautiful, and that makes them feel happy and confident and stylish. So that works for me. Number three, this one is a really good one. Create a nice file. Okay, so you might be thinking, what the heck is a nice file? Anytime you get positive feedback, whether it's on social media or someone sends you an email, someone sends you a letter, anywhere online, someone says something nice, take a screenshot of that and put it in a file on your computer and call it your nice file. So I have this anytime someone goes to leatherbeast.com and they click on testimonials and they send me a testimonial or just a really nice note, I definitely save those. I have them all in a Google Doc. And I look back on them whenever I'm feeling like I'm not good enough, or whenever I'm having one of those days where I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, what am I doing? If I'm feeling discouraged, I go and look at my nice file and I read all of your comments. Thank you to everybody who's ever said anything nice to me. I don't just read it once and throw it away. Like, I have this area where I keep these things because it really helps. It might seem kind of silly, but it's like concrete social proof that there are people that are liking what you're doing, no matter if you're selling a product or if you're someone like me who is talking to a community and trying to connect with people. When you have that you can fall back on and read, it's a really nice feeling. So I highly suggest that one. Even if someone is commenting on your Instagram and saying, hey, cool wallet, dude, screenshot it. You'll want to read that later when you're not having a great day. Okay, we are moving right along. Number 4. So you want to identify imposter syndrome when it's happening. This can really help you to deal with it. Just acknowledging that it's happening, just acknowledging like, okay, this is happening right now. I am feeling not confident about my work. Why am I feeling that way? Because I know my work is good. I know that people like my work. So this must be imposter syndrome. It's happening right now. So instead of trying to like argue with your fraudy feelings, you say something to yourself like, hello, imposter syndrome, I see you, but today I'm going to go ahead and do XYZ anyways and see what happens in my business. I'm not letting this hold me back. Okay. And the final tip that I have for you is to be yourself. This might seem obvious, but so many times we don't do this, right? You feel like you have to be somebody else. And this kind of ties in with that whole comparing yourself to other leather crafters. You feel like your website has to look like them, or you have to have the same sort of photos as they have, or you have to present your work or have the same attitude or confidence level as they have. But being yourself and being real and genuine, that is the best thing that you can do for your brand, because number one, there's nobody else that is like you. So you automatically are setting yourself apart from your competition by being yourself, being authentic, and being real. I remember actually when I first started Leather Beast, I was trying to mimic all of the other bloggers and experts online. I thought I needed to have this like cute office background in my videos. As you can see, I don't really do that anymore. I mean, I do turn my camera so you don't see all my laundry hanging in the background, but you know, I thought I had to have that like really cute background, or that I needed to stop saying all the time. I still say all the time, and it's just, you know, whatever, that's what I do. I thought I needed to be super enthusiastic all the time. I mean, nobody wants to sit here and listen to a Debbie Downer, but you know, really, this just made me like inauthentic, trying to like fit into this like little box. So over time, I feel like I've loosened up a little bit, and now I just come at you guys in a raw form, in my imperfect form. And some people might not like that, and that's fine. But I think the majority of people these days we want to see authentic people. We want to see authentic photos on Instagram. We want to see authentic, stories on Instagram or on these live videos. We want to really see, and make that connection with someone real, not someone pretending to be somebody else. So next time you are feeling imposter syndrome, I want you to try some of these methods. Next time you're feeling like, oh, my work isn't good enough to sell, or who am I to start this leather business? What are people going to think about me? I really just want you to take a second, use some of these strategies, take a second to call it out and say, this is imposter syndrome. Like, I need to get over it and move on and not let it hold me back from starting my business. That's my biggest goal for you. Do not let this imposter syndrome hold you back from starting to sell your leather goods, from really building that leather business. Because the more you wait, and if you wait until your work is perfect, you've waited too long. There's some quote there that I've heard it before, but it's something like, if you wait until your work is perfect to put it out in front of the world, you've waited too long. So go with the imperfection, do your best, obviously, make quality work, but do not wait until it's perfect. Put it out there. And yeah, I hope this helps. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to share this video, if you're on Facebook, share it with your friends or share it into any groups that you belong into. I would much appreciate that. If you want to join the Leather Tamers, we would love to have you over there. That's the Facebook group. And if you want to create a business and take your business to the next level, watch my workshop at lucrativeleathercraft.com. And I got some awesome blog posts coming up in the next few weeks. Yeah, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you guys so much for commenting. Thank you, Orchard Leather, Alina, all these people that I can't pronounce names, Farley's Saddlery and Service. Thanks, guys. This has been really fun. I'm really trying to make this more like interactive, and I love your participation. All right, I will see you next week. Have a great Wednesday. Bye, guys.